Whoa, we're back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a roundup video. There's a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new people playing, a lot of new people returning to the game, and, while I do try to make sure I'm keeping an eye on comments and community feedback and things like that, I am a loner deep down. My name is not an act. Yes, I am a loner, so sometimes I don't get to responding directly, but I do see y'all. I appreciate y'all. The channel's been going through a lot of growth recently, and hopefully we can continue to play Bleach Soul Resonance, have this delicious, beautiful, Bleach game for as long as possible. This game is actually so good that it's gotten me, like, hyped to watch more of the, Thousand Year Blood War stuff, because I said it before, this was really early on, but I watched and read Bleach when I was younger. Specifically, I read it when the Thousand Year Blood War was coming out, when there was no anime. So a lot of it I've already sort of finished up on, years and years ago. And so I was like, I'll wait to watch Thousand Year Blood War until, I just feel like it. But Bleach Soul Resonance, man, it has a way of getting you amped for some Bleach. Like, it's just a really good IP game. It's a gacha that pushes its IP forward rather than a gacha that relies solely on its IP, and that's always really impressive. But the intro point to this video is I have 14,588 Jade, and I have 7 limited gacha tickets. I guess we could consider limited gacha tickets to be 160 Jade themselves, meaning it's somewhere in the ballpark of, like, what would it be? I mean, it'd be almost close to like 800, 900, rounded Jade just here, because when I stopped pulling for Nelliel, I had 0 tickets, and I had 11,116 Jade. I also had spent about 9,000 Jade in total, because my limited gacha stamp weapon banner was primed. It literally needed 3 tickets to finish, whereas Nell essentially needed to be pitied. So that is where my account is. That means that over the course of the last, and this is 17 days, so 4 days. Over the course of 4 days, I've made about 3,472 Jade. Though, remember, I did not finish this until just recently. I had quite a bit to just go and collect. I'm not going to say I was like, oh my god, I had, all 1,300 was just waiting for me. I'd say that I had about 1,100 waiting for me. I had picked up some from these areas, from these various spots, but overall, a lot of the Jade came from the Outer Las Noches and the Mundo Desert, so that was very fortunate. So pretty good amount of resources petered out over these 4 days so far, just considering that flatly. We are also, of course, waiting, and like I said, this is going to be a bit of a, if you're a long time player, if you've been playing all 3 or so months, what have you, no breaks at all, then you're going to look at this video and you're going to be like, well, what are we doing? This is mostly for new and returning players, and for people who just want to hear me yap. But I've been working on more trials again. I think I could probably push trial 21, but otherwise, I have just sort of been waiting on the trials, not because I don't think I can do them, but more so because I do think that, it's not like a necessity to rush these down. That said, the thing I was going to point to is actually the content that we have so far, which are the Despair and Wrath fight. Specifically the form of Despair. The Wrath is going to release on day 8, so in, I want to say 3 days from the time of this video going up, about 3 days from the time of this video going up, I have a total score of 9,457,395, which puts me at top 51, actually, which not so snazzy. I mean, we are using a limited character, we're using the limited Nell, but otherwise, these are my 2 characters, right? So it's kind of interesting to see that they created an event, like I said, that is not completely mindless. It's not just like the whales will show up and win without any sort of contest, and that's really cool, right? It means that a lot of players are just getting filtered by not dodging well enough, by not maintaining their SS stats well enough, by not, you know, getting into double S rank fast enough, by not, you know, parrying when they need to and things like that. So, I mean, to be still holding that position 4 days out, like that is pretty cool. Because usually around day 3, day 4 is when you start seeing it just become sort of like whale territory, and you start seeing people like, all right, they've gotten on, they're off of work, they're gonna place. Similarly, I'm holding top 87, and by comparison, I mean, this event has 3 days left on it, and 3 days left means this is when we'll probably get our next content drop, because, which makes sense, about a week, because they usually want to sort of fill out these spots, and this event felt more so like a little bit of a Kenpachi banner / like introduction to Chinese New Year event. But yeah, overall, I mean, hitting top 85, you know, 87 rather, with completely free to play, like within completely free to play margins, is super nice. We also got a ton of rewards from this event, so just make sure if you're free to play or what have you, you're cooking that up. Again, 3 days until this leaves. Well, I would imagine we get another one of these mini game sort of themed events soon in 3 days, because that seems to be the basic timeline that they work under. That said, we also have a bunch more materials to get here. Once this 10 pull drops, I might do another summoning video for Nelliel. I'm sort of waiting on it. You can see I have 7 tickets in total, and once this day 14 hits and we've got, you know, a 10 pull, I might just send it back in for a Nell dupe. I said before, I do want to get a Nell dupe. I will not at all be pulling for Nell's weapon stamp again. So any weapon stamps I get will be completely consolidated into Nelliel or into the future banner, maybe a Grimjaw, maybe a Soifon or Mayuri, or, you know, anything else they can really pick up. So that'll be cool. We're also going to be getting 2 more limited gacha tickets here as well. Very excited for that. I mean, we are just like raining down pull materials, and that's why I said that if anyone's like, oh, who should I pull? I'm trying to get everybody. I'm trying to get dupes. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Like, you're in a very easy position, because the reroll is super duper free. The reroll is super duper free, which is exciting for a game like Bleach Soul Resonance, where characters are the primary pulling point. But yeah, that beyond that though, it's been a pretty chill ride. We're just about to get the new Runuganga fight, which is, you know, it's a weekly rehash, obviously. It's, you know, it's a co-op campaign where we're going to be able to go into that and try to place. The Frenzy Feast was pretty easy this time around, I feel like. Thrust, Spirit, and Slash at this point have been the dominant elements. Strike is just the one that is completely hoed. I have been considering raising my Toshiro now that we're sort of in an off time for me. If you're newer, you might not have this freedom. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I need gear, I need this, I need that. One thing I did get recently is my core stamp for Toshiro, which is pretty cool. I don't expect to get a spirit DPS for a bit of time, so this might be something I go ahead and give him. I mean, my Toshiro has just absolutely paltry stats, right? So it would be cool to start working on him. I would kind of want something like this. A crit rate seems the best, but we'll have to see where my farming goes. I mean, all of the characters I want done are essentially done. Like, I'm not going to go back in here and do more Kenpachi runs. I'm not going to go back in here and do more Nelliel runs. I'm not really working on Yoruichi. Yoruichi does just fine in the role that she serves. Gin is done. The only thing I could see myself doing is maybe shifting an ailment damage bonus piece out, which could be interesting, and maybe going with an attack % bonus set. But that's really the only thing I could even like fathom wanting to do with Gin. I have heard people, there was someone who ran these stats, ran the numbers, and said that attack %, at least until you're quite a bit ahead on your boundaries, does seem to be the preference for Gin. They actually did the statistics, so could be something I work on. But until then, Toshiro is the character that sort of interests me as a character I need to work on and would be useful. I don't really know when we'd get another Spirit DPS. It's not coming to mind, at least, when we'd get another Spirit DPS, so it would serve me. The other thing I need to do is actually go into Gacha, and let me change this. Oh, I actually do have it on Yudahara. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go max on Yudahara because he is the most sustaining standard unit just still, so that'll probably where I'll be moving there. But yeah, beyond that, I think the stamina is mostly going to go into, one, saving my nourishers, and two, trying to get Toshiro more online, because his set is pretty paltry right now. I mean, 32%, no crit percent here, which is a nightmare. I mean, I could switch to this and it'd actually probably just be better. So long as it hit the crit percent at all, like the crit rate. Because this is just a nightmare set. I mean, this is just nothing. This piece is sort of just nothing as well. I'd want like crit rate from this or crit rate from this, but again, these pieces are very good. These are very early stage account pieces. I would actually go as far as to say, yeah, don't lock any of these. Is this anything? Attack percent here? Yeah, this is nothing. Attack percent, crit rate, or crit damage, attack percent. I'd be much happier with maybe this piece here. Like I said, it's as I just sort of look around, I think something like this looks better, in fact. And again, this is just a nothing piece. This is really bad. So yeah, Toshiro is probably my next what do I want to call it? My next project. So for now, we can go ahead and level up his stamp at the very least. And one thing I would say about getting the core stamps, and I picked this up pretty randomly. I'll show actually one more thing I'm doing in the meantime. 300. God, it costs so much like con to do this. That's the worst part of this. One thing I've been doing is I'm farming up. Yeah, he's already higher than he was, and he's literally wearing worse gear. One thing I'm doing is here we go. I'm spending my core stamp tickets, which are right here, my stamp corridor tickets, trying to get just at this last bit before the 10 days wears off. I do think it's worth sort of getting a freebie. Obviously, by the time the 10 days wears off, we'll start looking at like Grimjaw coming back around, stuff like that. But I would kind of like a dupe. I mean, there are a lot of good dupes. It also does give me a chance to just randomly pull more of these and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I am sort of focusing this banner still. And speaking of which, we can actually go to character, and you see my Nelliel has popped power a bit. Didn't I get a dupe of this? Yeah, I did actually grab a dupe of her core stamp. So right now I'm focusing her core stamp. It looks really good. I think stuff like the type resistance is just really good. Getting the Verde Lance bonus damage seems really good, and then obviously the ult direct damage seems really, really good. So I will continue to just pull on that until it's over. And in the mix, that's where I ended up grabbing the floating ice bloom. So we will see what I look towards after that. But right now I'm really happy with my account. I'm sort of seeing characters phase out as well. We can, ooh, I didn't even realize we got this one. This is really good. That's really good for Toshiro because I'm going to be needing a lot of Momo's crit rate to help out my Toshiro because I do not have his weapon and I will not be pulling for his weapon. So that is pretty important. That is actually a pretty important one to get. But yeah, those are my plans. That's where my account is. This will probably be the last video like this, but then we're going to go into a weekly showcase. Now that we've got Nelliel fully built, we'll go into a showcase of Runum Gaga. I know people find this character a little annoying to fight. It's funny that Yami Largo is pretty chill, and the rest of them are like nightmares, essentially. Like they're so annoying to fight. Like this guy's pretty annoying, I feel like. So we'll see what we can get done there. But yeah, all that being said, thanks for hanging. Like and like the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.